Good morning, students. Welcome to the introductory section this morning. Nature and scope of investment analysis. Nature and scope of investment analysis. Meaning of investment analysis. We'll start from there. What does it mean by investment analysis? Now, this is different from investment. Investment is just a word that simply means buying of productive material, building of houses, construction of roads, and putting money into productive activities that can yield returns on the future dates. But when we talk about investment analysis, then we are talking about what are involved in investment. Before you get involved in investment, what do you need? What knowledge do you need to acquire? And what know-how do you need to have? So one, we talk about the process of reviewing investment. That is what investment analysis simply means. Investment proposals, looking at it and trying to be sure of what it's all about in order to avoid any mistakes. So it is the process of reviewing investment proposals, to help the investor or the would-be investor determine the changes that is known as investment analysis that may occur when the need arises, how viable this investment is. It is also the tool that can allows one to make the best investment decision. It enables the individual to weigh risk. Risk is those things that you should consider very important so that you don't lose your money after investing. So it enables the investor to take that decision by weighing risk that is involved in engaging in that investment, the return that you need to get, and then if there's need be for resale, the resale value that you are likely to have. So you also have the goal of investment analysis is to identify the investment that best fits the kind of portfolio and meets the investor's needs. This is very crucial because if you do not weigh certain things when you are about to invest, like you want to invest in a shares, for example, if you do not first of all know the capacity of the firm, the trustees or the board of directors composition, which is part of what we call corporate governance, if you do not know the history of that firm, you might likely made a mistake or kind of engage in a risk that may be very detrimental to your future return, because some have invested in shares that before they know, right in their eyes, the company went down, became insolvent. So you see, that is why investment analysis is very important. Like I said, it's a process that helps the investors to review proposals of investment to help them determine how viable, how profitable this investment will be. This is known as investment analysis. It helps the investors to make the best decision and enable him or her to check the risk and then the return, and also how possible it will be if at the end of the day I want to opt out of this investment, what would be the resale value. And also it's also the goal of investment analysis to identify the investment that best fits the portfolio and meet the investor's need. This is very crucial because if you engage in investment that does not meet your need, that you invest and you didn't know that this investment does not make anything good for you, even on the short run, then of what use is this investment? So that's why investment analysis is very critical. The investment analysis also helps the investors to understand the past investment returns and market trends that are currently examined in this process in order to tell what the future performance of that firm or of that investment will be. Investment analysis is also a very useful tool that helps to determine the best investment option Yes, among the various options that are available to the investors. It can also be used to assess individual investment securities, large scale commercial ventures, and also other type of undertakings for the purpose of investing in maybe just like a startup. A startup is typically a business that was brought up by a founder, just maybe one, or two, or more, who have a way to solve a certain problem. Imagine before Facebook came up, it was established or created by Zuckerberg, or we know how it was before Facebook, or let me say social media generally. So you can see each of these apps or social media apps, they were all designed created by individuals. So at that time they were startup, but you can't refer to Facebook now as a startup. But there are other startup businesses that may not be quite known to you now, but those who identify them and invest in them are likely to always make a good return on the long run, like those who may have identified Facebook at that time when it was still a startup. And so we have two types of analysis actually: fundamental and technical analysis. These are two significant approaches that we used in investment analysis. Now we start from number one: fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis is a way of determining the intrinsic value of securities, by looking at what the relationship between economic and financial elements they have. Fundamental analysts actually take everything and then look at it. What are these things that can affect the value of this security? From the macroeconomic issues. When we say macroeconomic issues, we are talking about government policies that may affect something like economic growth, something like inflation, something like money supply. All these things that can affect your security. Take a closer look at them, and see how is this thing affecting this security. Where is the future of this security going? We also talk about state of the economy, which I've just said, and the business environment, industrial circumstance, even exchange rate, which is very crucial to macroeconomic factors, like also management performance. Also, it is also the ultimate goal, is to arrive at a certain figure that we can compare to present price of a security to determine whether it is undervalued or overvalued. Some shares, many times are undervalued and sometimes are overvalued when they do not actually follow their true value in the market. Sometimes when they are overvalued, when people take the securities or even the shares as something they do not know that it is not the real value at that time, like Bitcoin at a time was overvalued. And so a lot of investors went into it, and unfortunately at such a time the bubble busted and it went back to its real true value. So this type of stock analysis is thought to be in opposition to the second analysis we made mention of, technical analysis. Technical analysis kind of forecast price direction using historical market data. This technical analysis is just like trading shares, trading different instruments or securities on the trading platform, maybe gold, maybe oil, or maybe other commodities, and so the technical analysts, what they do is to look at the trend of the price of this product and use different techniques to predict where the price will be going. And so we advise the investors whether to invest or not. So it is a trading discipline that helps to analyze statistical trends, acquired from trading activities. There are so many type of them. We talk about price movement, talk about volume. This to help to evaluate investment and then uncover trading opportunities and advise their clients on how to enter or come out during the trading section. Technical analysis is a trading discipline. It helps the investors to uncover opportunities by looking at price trend and pattern on charts. There are so many of these charts, so many of them. like also past trading activities, price changes, according to experts, may be used for prediction of future price movement. You see, so it's also frequently used to produce short-term trading signals using various chart tools. Like those who engage in trading, I'm talking about sharp orders, trading with sharp prices, online trading. There are people that engage in the services of a technical analyst who give them signals after studying the historical movement of the security, and then predict using different trading tools the future movement of the price of that good. So they give you signals that at such a time the price will go up, or at such a time the price will go down. Take a decision, enter or pull out. So the data collected through this technical analysis help the analyst in making better overall estimations of the movement of the price of the security. So in general, technical analysts consider the following main sort of indications. One is the price trend. Price trend simply means the movement of price, whether it's going up or whether it is stable or it's going down. We also talk about chart patterns. They use different charts. Talk about volume and momentum indicators. We're talking about oscillators, moving average, and support and resistance level. These are various trends, various instruments used by technical analysts. Then we'll talk about nature of investment analysis. Nature of investment analysis is simply talking about what does it entail when you want to do analysis of investments. What does it entail? Number one, it evaluates securities. You see, investment analysis examines the securities for choosing the appropriate ones. If you want to buy firm shares, you don't want to buy a firm shares or the share of a firm that just came up and got floated in the stock exchange that may not have a future, or that the composition of the board is not something that you can vouch for. So evaluate security before you engage in it. So that is part of investment analysis. It's a tool which helps investors to evaluate investment proposals, like we have said before you take any investment decision. So investment analysis actually also aim at choosing the strategic investment plan which fulfill all the goals that you may have aligned. So the second one is measures risk and return. These are what it involves. That is, after evaluating the securities, you have to measure the risk and the return. So investment analysis measure risk and return of investment plans for determining the profitability that might accrue to the investment, and after all. So we also have the level of risk to be undertaken and cash flow that will be received. These are two important factors that are considered in every project. So investors through this process are able to determine the level of profitability from different investment alternatives. That enables the investors to now choose or determine which investment is to undertake. The third one is deals with irreversible decisions. There are some decisions that have conditions that once you get into it, you cannot reverse it until the time expires. So investment analysis mainly deals with irreversible decisions that are for long term. So these decisions affect the earning capacities and growth rate of investors. So in the case of any wrong decision, it may cause huge losses and long-term advice. And so with investment analysis, investor is able to avoid such mistake of entry into kind of a business which he or she may not have known if analysis was not done. And so with that, you're able to avoid entry into a kind of decision that may not be reversed. Then it predicts future performance. This process is used to predicting the future performance of security for knowing their credibility. So various charting tools like I mentioned before, and information like past returns, market trends, the conditions in the economy, these are all studied to estimate the future returns. Then you also have the suit investor needs. So, you do investment analysis to see whether your needs will be suited by this. So investment analysis also assists in matching the investment with the investor's preference and goals. Before someone wants to engage in investment, he must have certain goal, or this is a short-term investment or a long-term investment I want to do, or investment with a low price goal or a high price goal. So it first properly analyze the individual capability and requirements for performing the analysis of securities. Projects are examined to ensure whether they are appropriate for investor or not. This is very, very important. Then you talk about scope of investment analysis. What is the scope? What does it entail? You see, one is that is safety of principle. Investment analysis ensures safety of principle, by helping to properly review the stock before investing any amount. So this is what financial analysts do. You see, it evaluates the risk involved in security, which helps in reducing risk of loss of capital and income. I've had friends who invested in so many online businesses and they collapsed. You see, it's because proper investment analysis was not done. So if it was done, this is one of the scope, is safety of principle. And number two, it builds strong portfolio. Choosing the right type of stock leads to formation of a strong portfolio. Yes. So investment analysis studies different types of security for finding out the one that kind of best fit the portfolio that it requires. It also focuses on matching these securities with the goals of the portfolio that you have acquired. This helps to attain the desired outcome. This is part of the scope of investment analysis. Then you also have enhancement of return. You see, enhancement of return is part of the scope of investment analysis to see if your return will be sealed and safe. So investment analysis have an efficient role in enhancing the general overall return to the investors. So it lay more emphasis on degree of risk. There are some very risky investments, like when the Bitcoin was still very volatile. Some put in millions of naira not knowing that the thing will come crashing the next day, and many died as a result of that. So it emphasized more on degree of risk involved and amount of return for determining the profitability of that stock. So investment analysis will help in selecting the investment plan with more stable income and lower risks. That's why some experts says if the money you want to invest in online trading, for example, maybe trading of stocks, trading of Bitcoin, and general sharp prices trading, if you cannot lose it, don't invest. That is part of the risk that is involved. And so if you engage in investment analysis during this period, it will help you to know whether your return can be enhanced or not. It also imparts financial knowledge. You see, it enhances the overall financial understanding of individuals looking for strategic investment plan. While you are engaging in this, it widens your scope of understanding and how things actually work in the stock exchange or in the trading platform. So while evaluating the securities, various tools and techniques are used which provide a lot of useful information to the investor. So this information enables investor in taking rational investment decisions, which will bring better return and then minimize risk. So today we have examined investment, examine nature and scope of investment analysis. We have discussed the meaning of investment as a process of reviewing investment proposal in order to determine their viability to the investors. It also helps to identify investment that best fit the portfolio, and also helps to understand the past investment returns and the market trends within that period. It also helps in determining the best investment option, and also helps to assess individual investment securities, large-scale commercial venture, and other type of undertaking. So we also said that there are two types of this analysis. Talk about fundamental and technical analysis. So we said fundamental analysis is a way of determining the value of a security by just looking at the relationship between the economic and the financial elements, of that economy. Fundamental analysis look at everything that can affect the value of the security. So we said that technical analysis, on the other hand, is a kind of discipline that analyze statistical trends, that have been acquired from trading activities, such as the movement of price, the volume. It helps to evaluate investments and uncover trading opportunities. So we said that technical analysis consider the following: the trend of the price using certain patterns of the chart. Talk about the momentum and volume indicators, oscillators, and moving average, and then talk about support and resistance level. These are technical, terms. And then we said that investment analysis helps to evaluate securities, measure risk and return, deals with irreversible decisions, and predict future performance, and engage in investment that suit the investors' need. So talk about the scope of investment analysis, that it helps in providing the safety of principal, build strong portfolio, and after building portfolio, it will enhance the return to the investors and also makes the investor to acquire financial knowledge. So this is the extent to which we can go today. I'm sure the next section will deal with something else. Thank you very much. Take care. Please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the subscription button, and then click on also the notification bell. Clicking on notification bell will notify you of a new content that is dropped on a daily basis or weekly basis, as the case may be. So please share with your friends, and also drop a comment, and tell us how you feel. And also, if you have any topic you want treated, also drop it in the comment box, and let's see what we can do about it. Thank you very much. Have a great day ahead.